few weeks ago, I compared Chuck Berry's The Great 28 with Elvis's The Sun Sessions. But after this tough battle, I finally have the results. And the winner is... drumroll, please. A tie! Since this is a rare instance of a tie, I am putting both albums into round 2, so both can compete again. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this next comparison. What is the most radical band you can think of? If you lived in the 1970s, you'd probably say the Sex Pistols. If you lived in the 1980s, you may say Public Enemy. This is why I'm comparing both albums by the Sex Pistols and Public Enemy today. But what album is better? Well, let's find out. In March of 1977, English punk band the Sex Pistols began recording their first album. At this point, they were considered very controversial, some of their actions including swearing on live TV, being banned in much of England, and being fired by 2 record labels. Meanwhile, their bassist, Glenn Matlock, recently left the band and was replaced by Sid Vicious. Unfortunately, the record company thought Sid Vicious's performance skills were not considered to fit the record, so guitarist Steve Jones stepped in for most of the bass tracks. The album took roughly 5 months to record, and 4 singles were released previously, including God Save the Queen and Pretty Vacant. The album was eventually released in October 1977, and it sold very well, debuting at number 1 in the UK album charts, and spending 60 weeks in the top 25 UK album charts. 10 years later, rap group Public Enemy released their debut album, and it was met with praise by hip-hop fans, but ignored by mainstream audiences. For their second album, Public Enemy set out to make a hip-hop album with strong social and political commentary, similar to Marvin Gaye's soul album, What's Going On. Public Enemy wanted to give the album a more timeless feel, focusing on heavier beats, faster tempos, and a more aggressive vocal. Like the Sex Pistols, Public Enemy received critical acclaim for their album, and it is now regarded as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, hip-hop album of all time. Since we've gone over the history of each album, I think it's important to talk about the influence each album had in its musical style. The Sex Pistols exhibit a punk rock style that was considered more aggressive than the other punk rock groups. Lyrically, the Sex Pistols also set out to be more shocking than their punk rock counterparts, focusing on the music industry and politics. Public Enemy uses the musical genre of hip-hop, but what sets them apart from the different hip-hop artists at the time was their heavier beats and faster tempos, as I mentioned before. Lyrically, Public Enemy's album tackles many social issues, including white supremacy and empowerment for African Americans. If you are still unsure of which album you like better, I am going to play 3 clips from each album, so you can decide.
We always do this! Yeah, boy! Bass! How low can you go? Death row? What a brother, no. Once again, back is the incredible rhyme animal. For the same thing, it's a new thing. Check out this I bring. There's no point in asking, you'll get no reply. I'll just sing it by. Yes, the rhythm's a rebel. Without a pause, I'm lowering my level. The hard rhymer, will you never win on me? You want styling? You know it's time to get deep. The enemy telling you to hear it. It's alright, know what you need. There's no future, no future, no future for you. God save the queen. We need it, man.
So, which album is better? Well, that's where the You Decide It aspect comes in. Click on the link in the description below. and that'll bring you to a poll where you, the viewer, get to vote on which album you prefer. But overall, I highly recommend you check out both albums, as they are both very good. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.